Hey guys, it's Cade here from Woolwicks. Gonna be going over just a few little things here, just real quick and speedy like. Just gonna go over what could potentially happen the next 48-ish hours, maybe on farther than that. So, gonna be throwing a lot of information out there, guys. If you have questions about anything, drop a comment on this video. I will gladly answer it. So first thing I'm going to get started off with is our Spc Outlook for today. So looking over kind of the 4-state region here, we do have a small sliver of the slight risk that catches edges of McDonald, Newton, and Jasper. As far as the rest of McDonald, Newton, Jasper, Green, Lawrence, Christian, Stone, Taney, and Berry, the rest of us do sit in the marginal risk. This is mainly a transition line that's going to occur from whenever the outlook switches from day 1 to day 2. That transition time line is going to be pretty much right where this line cuts off at, and you'll see whenever I move forward to the day 2 outlook kind of what I'm talking about. So speaking of which is what I'm going to switch to now. So you can tell right kind of where it's switched off at. So as far as the risk for Southwest Missouri, still debating. Risk does look to be there in the morning, and there is a risk that looks to be there about the middle of the afternoon, 2, 3, 4, 5-ish. So I'll probably be up and at it quite early tomorrow, watching it, seeing what's going to occur, and I will continue to monitor throughout the day, seeing what's going to happen. As far as tonight goes, we should be clear, not expecting really any rain until early morning hours, and that's going to run as far as in 4 to 5 a.m. So one big story that's going on is this giant threat that's going on here in the Dixie Alley, as people call. Basically, if you were to put this area, it's just usually we don't really see giant moderate threats like this. We are watching for a high risk to be issued whenever it switches over to a day 1 outlook. So whenever it gets later tonight, there are a few of us that are going to see if they do throw a high risk on it. So there is the risk for dangerous tornadoes in this area. I say the word dangerous, I don't necessarily mean big and ferocious. There is quite a difference between ginormous tornadoes and dangerous tornadoes. You can have a mile-wide one out in the middle of Nowhereville, Kansas, and it could be dangerous if there was people around, but since it's going through an open field, not really too much of a danger. Hence that to be more on the lower end, say EF1. But here we're going to be looking at longer, not necessarily longer, but storms that are going to be going in basically 3 different bands. And the first 2 bands look to be more like isolated cells, so that might be the potential for more of the longer tracking tornadoes. Now we move on to round 3. It does look like more of a linear type setup as far as the storms run. So we're going to be looking more at Qlcs Tornadoes, which those tornadoes actually occur into a line of storms where there's a notch per se. Those still are dangerous as any other tornado. They're not as powerful, and they're not as long living or big. But it is possible for something of that to occur, and it would create a mess if it were to hit a town. So I'm gonna get going on this here. No. turn these off here. Okay, so this is going to be loading up here real quick. So for fake's sake, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of fast forward into farther on here. Give it a minute to load. So you can kind of tell how messy this system is. We have scattered showers throughout southern part of Missouri, heavier bands of rain west of I-35, and then we have this one that's kind of over by Wichita that looks like it could be giving a pretty good downpour. But this is as of 3 a.m. tomorrow. We move on to 4 a.m. These storms do start getting a kick in their step as they start moving there to the east. So there's 4 a.m. You can start telling there is going to be these scattered showers are starting to more condense down into some more. Basically, what we're going to be watching for is where do these storms sit whenever the sun starts coming up. Believe it or not, when the sun comes up, it really starts warming the atmosphere. So we're going to have to watch very carefully where these lines of storms are when the sun starts coming up. So this is as of 5 a.m. So as you can tell, quite heavy rain over here in northern Oklahoma and the central part of Kansas. As we move on to 6 a.m. hour, it is still working its way towards southwest Missouri. Notice how there are some larger isolated cells kind of popping up. Those have a small risk of going severe, but they still have the risk to go severe. So as we bump on to the 7 a.m. hour, they really start moving in, especially up here towards the Kansas City, between Nevada and Kansas City. Going to be a lot of rain falling up that way. Now, the model that I'm showing here is not near as in depth as the one I'm going to go into here in a little bit. This is just on the radar software. It's a little bit easier to tell, a little bit easier for you guys to see kind of where the heavier areas of rain are at. Not necessarily does the darker cells mean stronger storms. So, so as we actually continue on here real quick into the 8 o'clock hour, it really starts working its way into southwest Missouri here along the state line. 9 o'clock, it's basically in southwest Missouri, moving through. As you can tell, it's not very organized. Something we're going to have to watch here. I haven't exactly decided what I'm going to call anything yet. Oh, excuse me. But just been trying to keep an eye on it, monitor what might happen. The models I'll show here in a minute are going to be a little bit more in depth, make it a little bit easier for me to tell you guys kind of what I'm watching for. So that's what I'm going to go do right this moment. So showed you guys all of the other stuff earlier. So this is the current SPC Outlook as of 4:18 p.m. tonight or this evening. I'm going to try to get this video out quickly. Hopefully everything will go good. But so there is a categorical outlook. We do have that small risk of that 5%, then the extreme low percent of that 2. Winds are a factor along with some hail. The hail is the main reason for that 30% or that enhanced risk. Moving on tomorrow, basically this could turn into a very large scale severe event. There are certain words I try to avoid just due to the fact, but the enhanced risk is actually kind of slowly working its way up into southwest Missouri. It does cover most of Stone, Green, Christian, Taney. I know the line is very, very close with Green. So this actually says Springfield, Missouri is just in the slight risk, not exactly in the enhanced risk. So that means they're downstepped a little bit, but we're going to have to watch and see what they update. I do believe the next time this does get updated is whenever it will get bumped up to a day 1 outlook. So, just to put this into context, usually moderate risk are not this big. Under that moderate risk, there is 8 million, about 8.25 million people. That's a big roundup, but easier to say. In the enhanced risk itself, only has 5.5. So, to put that in context, the slight risk has Joplin, Springfield, all of Northwest Arkansas, and Atlanta in it, and it's sitting at about 14.75 million. So, a lot of people can be affected by this. We're just going to watch it closely and see what happens. There is a very hefty chance of a tornado here in that red 15% area. The black outline with the dashes indicate that there is a 10% or greater probability of an EF2 to EF5 tornadoes. Move on to hail. Once again, it is quite strong. Correction, this is wind. So 30% risk. They're covering quite a big swath of that enhanced risk. There is also the 10% or greater probability of wind gusts 65 knots or greater within 25 miles of point. That is some heavier wind, I will say that. And we get to hail, pretty much on the backside where the cooler air will be, but there is a 30% chance in that enhanced area again, with a significant severe that indicates there is a 10% or greater chance of 2-inch or larger diameter hail. So that's probably gets very boring. That's how come I'm kind of truck along here. Can't remember exactly what the UTC code is. So there's the low pressure system that's actually going to be at fault for causing all this freaking mad chaos. So as we move on into, you can tell it just basically starts exploding here in northern Oklahoma, southern Kansas. And it is just a mess. Most of it's going to be rotating. Be doing more of this manner here, I do believe. So basically that's allowing a lot of warm moist air coming in from the Gulf, while there is a fair chance of colder air coming down from the north, creating a giant mass chaotic event in this area. Pardon my terrible drawing skills. I am not an artist, so tips would be great. But been going over multiple soundings, just trying to get an idea of what everything's looking like. Sorry if this video bores you guys. I'm trying to make sure I get everything covered. So as you can tell, it's just a very scattered mess moving through. Heck, they're even going to see snow where they saw tornadoes the other day. So if that tells you how cold some of this is. But I mean, there's a fairly decent chance of some pretty crazy weather. So even some of these have point to a possible hazard type of a tornado. I'm trying to watch that, see what occurs as far as that line runs as well. But I'm approaching 15 minutes here, so I don't really want to take it too much longer, guys. So I'm going to put this in a forecast loop real quick, just so you guys can kind of watch how the system works here. As it works its way across the central United States here. So we're going to be watching very closely and see what actually occurs. That did show some snowfall over southwest Missouri, but it will not happen. So don't get your hopes up for that one. But yeah, I think this is going to be all, guys. Thank you. Hey guys, just want to say a big thank you for you guys watching this video. Really does mean a lot. Really hope you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully enough that you guys can go and hit that subscribe button that's going to pop up here in a few moments. Thank you guys so much.